Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Running True, my podcast, blog, video dealio that's going to tell you about how I'm preparing basically from ground zero to run a 50K. And I actually have some notes, and I hope they're not too distracting, but I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about my history as a runner. When I was a little kid, probably in elementary school, I remember I was always the slowest running boy when I claimed boyhood, I guess, in the class. And I really got made fun of a lot because I also ran funny, they said. And, and I also got critiqued sometimes by my friends that I walked funny. And I think we kind of know what that was about now. But here's the thing, is I paid attention how boys were supposed to walk and how they're supposed to run, and I did it, and I became an okay runner. I was never the best runner around, but I was up there. It was just because I can be pretty stubborn and make things happen. So anyways, that's kind of my running past, where this started, my running. I want to show you a picture of me and Sarah. This is for our 50th anniversary. We decided we were going to run a 50K right there. And we did. And we ran that sucker and we did it. And this year, I'm going to do the 50K again, the same one, the Spokane River Run, which, as I said before, I don't want to keep hyping it. But it is really a good run, and that's April 22nd. So I came up with a plan. As you probably know, as I've told you before, I like data and I like plans. Sometimes I don't stick to the plans, but I find making a plan sometimes delays action, which sometimes I seek a delay in action. And I know that about myself, getting out to run. Sometimes I will do everything I can and make sure everything is done in the house before I can go, because I like to delay sometimes. There we go. Okay. So the big thing that we're starting out with, physically wise, is I looked it up. I've actually gained 10 pounds. I've gained 10 pounds since I started hormone replacement therapy back in September of 2016. And again, because I like my numbers and stuff, I have charts of all my measurements over the last, 15 months, I guess. And I think I'd like to just kind of go over in some broad brushstrokes those measurements, just to kind of give you an idea. Because even though I gained 10 pounds, the weird thing is it's in a lot different places now. So I started out weight of 184. I'm 194. I've lost about an inch around my neck. I gained 2 inches here. And it looks like I've lost about an inch and a half around my rib cage, maybe actually closer to 2 inches around my rib cage, right under my breasts. Right at my waistline, that was a pretty big one. I lost 4 inches around my waistline. So you think, boy, you should probably weigh less, because, I am losing some weight around the waistline. Now, but my pants line, right where my pants used to usually ride up, that went from 35 to 37. So I've gained a couple inches there. My ass used to be 38 inches. Now it's 41 inches. There's 3 inches there. So that's probably a big part of where the weight is. And then everything else is kind of the same. I've lost a little bit of height, which is normal. And my feet are just a tad bit smaller. My biceps are about 2 inches smaller. And my leg shape has changed a little bit. So I do have the issue of some weight stuff. And I would like to get down. I'd probably like to lose about 20 pounds, but that's not what this thing's about. This thing's about getting in shape to go run 50K. And so I'll take whatever comes of that. And so how has it been so far? This is the first week. And so my first week, my goal was 18 miles. And I did that. I actually did 3 miles last night on the treadmill at work. In between calls, I eked out 3 miles. And I have a plan. It's a cunning plan. This is backwards. I realize everything's mirrored on this, so I'm sorry about the mirror presentation of that. But you can see, this is starting. This is where we're starting. We're going up here. I actually have to get up only to 55 miles or scratch that, 56 miles. And I've got about 20 weeks to get ready. So this first week it's 18 miles, and then I go up to 20, and then 22, because I like to do about a 10% increase each week. And I'll have correspondingly longer runs that make up part of that. And I'd like to work in a couple of rest days, at least one rest day a week. And today is my rest day for that week, because my week goes from Sunday to Saturday. So I will start my week 2 of running, shooting for 20 miles tomorrow, actually. One thing I kind of think about sometimes is how in the past I've really kind of hurt myself because I've increased mileage too fast because it felt good, like, oh, I can do this and I'll get up to this point. But I don't think I have that kind of mindset anymore. That's another thing about the HRT, is it has changed the way I think about a few things. And so I'm kind of be able to stick to my plan a little bit better, I think, than what I did before. Probably the big news, because I told you there'd be some technology involved in this as well, is this is kind of a metaphor for how I do things sometimes, I think. I've had this happen to me twice. 2 running watches, very old running watches, that needed new batteries. And so I did this probably about 5 years ago, and I took the battery out and went to go change it and had to read all these instructions. It's not an easy task, I don't think. There's some soldering involved. And then I get frustrated, and then I break it and it goes in the garbage. And so I had a watch. It was a Garmin Forerunner 305, and my son Ike, I'd given him the same watch. He never used it, so he gave me his. Well, his battery started going low on his too, so I used the Garmin 305 for a long time, his, and then it was going bad. It's a very old watch. So I did the same thing, and then I destroyed the watch again. I think I got messier this time. I think there was lots of glue. I think I wound up getting glued to me at one point, and I ripped it off my skin and threw it in the garbage. And then I went and bought a new watch, which is kind of, my MO, is I will try to fix something, and then I will eventually surrender and take the plunge, in this case, spending money to buy a new watch, which I did. So I got a Garmin 35, right there, you can see it. And as far as I can tell, it does pretty much the same thing that my Forerunner 305 did. It gives you, the cool thing is, so you don't have to wear a chest strap to get heartbeat information. It comes right off of my wrist. And the battery life looks like it's pretty amazing on these things. Like, I think it's like 13 hours if you leave it in the actual running mode. Out of running mode, I think you can go days between charging, which, boy, that's pretty cool. So it comes with 1 charging cord, so I'll probably order another charging cord so I have a spare, leave 1 at work. So I think that's kind of it, what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to show you a picture of me and Sarah and the running, talk about my running in the past. I wanted to tell you what kind of runner I was as a kid. Where did these 10 pounds go? Well, probably in too much detail. Hopefully you can get all that washed out of your mind someday. And my goal, I would love to get down to 175, lose 20 pounds, but I don't know. I still have some upper body strength because of my job. I have to keep a little bulk up there, which is cool. I'm going to go up to 55 miles in a week, not 75 like I earlier reported. I did a little more research and then I came up with a running plan. And we talked about my watch. So I think that's it. Boy, that's a lot of stuff for the second week. Hopefully I don't have things to, or first week. Hopefully I don't have things to run out to talk about on the second week. And I'll put it on my Spokane-orama blog as well as posting it on YouTube. So you can go on that. And I'll probably have a little more written reflection, touchy-feely stuff on there. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And stay tuned. I've got a week, 20 miles to do this week. Wish me luck. Bye.